this video, I wanted to show you all how to work with the different blend modes that are there inside Photoshop. Now, blend modes are are the most fun part of Photoshop because you don't have to do a lot of work and the effects that you create are amazing. So in this video, I'll be showing you 3 different looks that I have made. And friends, all the different textures that I have used, the download link will be there in the description, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, what I've done is I have just changed a few blend modes in this. I've added some CC effects, and you can basically do this. This is nothing advanced. This is just using an adjustment layer and you're just placing it properly, and then you'll end up with this effect. Now, if you don't like this, you can even go with a simple effect with just one texture and a text line. That looks good too. If you don't like any of this and you want to go with something very extreme, then you can just go for this, So in this video, I'll show you how to work with the different blend modes inside Photoshop. I'll just give you a few tips and techniques that I have learned, while working with Photoshop. So let's get started now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import a texture. I've got this lovely texture. I'm going to take it, I'm going to drop it onto my project like this. I'm just going to scale it up so it fits the canvas. Now, some of you may say that scaling is bad, but right now I'm importing this as a smart object, so it's not going to harm the project file at all. And anyways, I've just scaled it up just by a little bit. So, and as it is, we're going to change the blend mode, so no one will really notice. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the blend mode to soft light. Now, this is the way I work. Doesn't matter what kind of texture it is or what kind of thing I'm trying to blend. I always like to go with soft light first. If soft light doesn't work, then I change the blend mode to either overlay or hard light, right? Now, if those two don't work, then I tend to go for multiply or add. Now, some of you may say that that's a wrong thing to work and that's not the way to work. Well, actually you are correct, but that's the way I've, developed my skills of Photoshop, right? And the best thing is that we don't have to come over here again and again. Like, if I drop this texture in, right? Now I want to see the different effects that it does with the different blend modes. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change it to soft light. Soft light is kind of like an overlay effect, but just kind of like a 50% of overlay. So overlay is basically a little more intense and soft light is a little less intense. So I change it to soft light first, and then I can just scroll through this. I just have to keep my mouse pointer on this layer, or actually blend mode changing option, and I can just scroll through all of them. See this? So I honestly have never really understood how blend modes work. Like, there's a full math behind this. There's a very heavy and complex algorithm. And by the way, this blend mode options, this is pretty much everything same in After Effects Premiere. So if you are watching Photoshop and you even learn from my After Effects tutorials, the machine used for blending is very, very same. Yeah, actually 99% same. So you don't have to, now go watch my After Effects blending either. Okay, so anyways, the way I like to work with, I like to go with the soft light, and then I just scroll through all the different blend modes. Now, I honestly have never understood how blend modes work, but I'll just tell you how, you can remember the basic ones. Now, the first set is going to be the darkening blend mode. So basically, if you have a texture, okay, and now if you change this to either linear burn or say color burn, or where is it gone? Color burn, then you'll end up darkening your image. So every light pixel, like everything which is light in nature, is going to get blended away, and all the dark parts are going to remain. That's what the first set does. The second set basically is the exact opposite. It's a lightening blend mode. So if you change it to either linear dodge, all the white parts, or actually the bright parts of the image, are going to stay, and all the dark parts are going to fade away. And next, this third set is the special effects, or the contrast set. So if you change this to overlay, you'll be having a mixture of both. You'll be having the dark pixels as well as bright pixels on your image. So you can see this. Sorry. You change it to overlay, and you see that we are having both kind of pixels in our image. That's the way I like to work. So that's how you do it. Now, the good thing about textures is you can have, good thing about blend modes is you can have multiple textures on an image, and you can have multiple blend modes used at the same time. For example, I have this thing right here. If I change the blend mode to soft light, you can see that we are now having multiple soft lights, or actually an overlay and a soft light on the same image. Now this is perfectly okay. You can put this into a group and nothing is going to happen. See this? You got two groups, but both of them are going to be by default set through a new blend mode called as pass through. Now if you have gone on internet, you have gone on Google and you have searched blend modes, you would have probably looked up all the different blend modes. So like I came across an article in Google that was very, very detailed, and honestly I did not read it, because who would sit down to read all of that? So much information. It's good if you really want to get into it, then that's great, but I honestly just skipped the whole thing, and I never paid attention. So basically these are all the special effects blend modes. This is a HSL. So basically this is like hue, saturation, color, and luminosity. Sorry if I can't get that right, but basically that plays with the color in your image. So you can see you get different results like this. And honestly, the best way to work, according to me, is never remember these. Like if you want to remember, that's good, but I honestly never remember. I just scroll through all of this, so you can see how quick it is. And if I like something, I just take my scrolling a little slowly, and I can remember all these different blend modes. So it's a great way of experimenting and a great way of coming up with different ideas. Next I would like to show you one more thing I'd like to tell about. Now I'm pretty much done with this tutorial, people. One thing, most of the blend modes that you'll be using, like all the regularly used ones, are overlay, soft light, linear add, multiply, and color burn. These four I think are very, very important. So just kind of play around with them. One thing I would like to say that, friends, if you're not satisfied with this tutorial, I can understand why that is. But honestly, this is all the info that a beginner needs to know on the topic of blend modes. If you go into the details of advanced blending right here, you see you may have gone on YouTube and kind of try to see what this does. And this is basically a technique of high-end masking. This is like, I use it a lot when I'm doing my color masking, or if I want to mask out something which is transparent in nature. But basically I would say that just stay away from all this, because this is gonna really take away the fun from the tutorial, I would say, right? It does give you a lot of advanced options and manual control, but I would still advise you to stay away from all of this. So if you're a beginner, just focus on the basics, okay? Understand when you have to use blend modes, just play around with them, and that's all I have to say about blend mode. So